Welcome to Test Dive, conference organized by Nokia.
Hello everyone, it's good to be here today. So, as a QA engineer, I have many hours thinking about quality, to be honest. In fact, I have spent many hours, and if quality were a person, it would be definitely one of my best friends. But today I won't talk about testing or finding bugs, although that's always fun, right? But today I want to show you, as a QA engineer, we can change the way we think about quality. But let's start a bit about me. So, I'm a senior QA engineer. I have been working as a QA for more than 6 years now. I currently work in SmartBear. This is the company which makes software tools for testers. Some of them you might know, some of them you might use on a daily basis. For example, Swagger, Zephyr, SoapUI, Test Complete, and much more. Besides that, I'm also, as you can see, father, runner, and DJ. Okay, let's go quickly through the agenda. The agenda for today is like testing and quality assurance, daily basis challenges, evaluation checklist, QA processes, pros and cons, and the last but not least, QA survey. But at the beginning, I want to know you better, so let's get each other better. I got a question for you. Please grab your phones, and scan the code and please answer the question. Okay, so it looks like we had experienced people right now on our track. That's good. Okay, so I guess we can move on. What do you think? I guess yes. Okay, so 189 people, nice, mostly experienced. But I have another question. So let's imagine your everyday week, and you spend 40 hours a week on work. So how much time do you spend on testing, lead and team management, automation, and quality assurance? Okay, so it looks like testing and related things you have spent the most time on. To be honest, it doesn't surprise me at all. Because right now it's time for my story. So about 2 years ago, after yet another meeting, which could be an email, of course, I learned that I got a lot of new things to test. A lot. And it needed to be tested as soon as possible, exactly. So, but unfortunately, we had some bugs on productions. And unfortunately, we have the same or very similar bugs on production. They just reappeared. moment when I start to thinking and wondering, okay, so am I a tester, or am I, as my job title says, quality assurance engineer? Am I growing in my career or just stuck in regression? So that was the first reason why I started preparing that presentation, to answer that question. The second question and second reason was, how many of you had the same experience? I was just curious. Starting looking for an answer. So first answer I found is TQB, and it said, while people often use the phrase quality assurance or just QA to refer to testing, quality assurance and testing are not the same, but they are related. Okay, that's good, but what does it mean? So quality control and quality assurance, I start to ask myself also, what does it mean? So I found a very good list on the internet, more detailed and divided into definition, orientation, activity type, and aim. And this is the link to the source. First thing, definition. It is an easy question or not? Because let's imagine you are on a job interview and someone asks you, what's the definition of a tester or QA? What would you answer? Okay, but what is the definition? Yes, for tester and QA. What's the definition? So someone, please explain me like your grandma. Yeah? What's the basic, let's say, definition for tester and QA? General idea and the product, okay.
And the tester is more on the mechanical side of ensuring that requirements are met and the product is meeting expectations.
Okay, so tester is about more
about the testing side.
more testing side, so make sure that it's work properly with and work like in documentation, for example. Okay. So what I found, it's like activities related to finding defects in a system. Yeah? Okay. And QA, process design to ensure the software corresponds to specification. Okay. Next one, orientation. That answer here, below this tester and QA, it's something oriented. But could you help me replace that something by your ideas? Something oriented tester, something on the oriented QA. Any ideas? Process, yes. And the first one? Application. Exactly. Product. And process oriented, exactly. That's the good answer. Activity type. Activity type, what activity type is for tester and for QA? You can guessing. Maybe I encourage you even to interact, because I also have prepared some gadgets from Smartburst. So. Any ideas? Proactive and reactive. Okay, it's corrective, preventive. So let's say, okay. And, oh, sorry. Okay, one more time. So aim for tester and for QA. Okay, you just saw that, the control the quality. So how about QA? One more time. Define? Okay. Measure the quality, define quality. Anyone else? Assure. Oh, okay, that's the answer what I expect here. Exactly. So QAs, Assure the quality. Thank you. That's all from my side. That's awesome. No, I'm just joking, of course. You saw the agenda, so you know that many points out there waiting for us. But what does it mean, assure the quality? So someone told me that, let's maybe try to rephrase it. And I rephrase it to taking the ownership. What I mean by that is to taking responsibility for equality in a team and the process working properly and prevent the bugs, yeah? So this is something that it's, for me, taking ownership means. Okay, but on daily basis we had some challenges that prevent us to achieving our goals. This is my list here. Could you help me complete our list with the things that blocks you on to achieving your, I don't know, daily tasks, daily goals? Interruption. Meetings, okay. Anything else? Once again? Deadline, okay, that's a good one. One more time? Still no. Ad hoc tasks, okay, that's also a good one. Yes, exactly. Anything else? Support, okay. Consistency, complexity of the task, exactly, of the project even, yeah. Anything else? One more time. Changing of requirements. I like this one. Yeah, exactly. So my list looks like this. So I got a problem with time management, communication, team meetings, task prioritization, test automation maintenance, team changes, and business requirements changes, and also much, much more. Yeah. Okay. We are in cinema, right? So from what movie is it from? This font. Lord of the Rings, exactly, exactly. And like Frodo and his friends, I want to start the journey with you into QA world. But we will start with small steps. Why? Because such implementation of changes had a much bigger probability of success. So let's start our journey. So, wait a second. Guys, this is us. This is our team, all right? So let's imagine right now we are just like completely new joiner who just joined a new team and trying to figure it out what's going on there. But let's take our first step and stop for a moment. When I prepared for that presentation, I found a very interesting post on the internet on one of the IT groups with question, but I need to help myself. What quality processes are supposed to improve the team performance but have the opposite effect? Very good question, and the answer that got the most likes was all processes that enforce are not and not adapted to reality of the team. So this is something when you should be aware when you try to implement changes in a team. And for me, it was okay. That's the good point. But let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, we are in our team right now. We can look what went well, what can we improve, and with that knowledge, let's move on to the next area. Oh, what's that? You ask. That's the magic board. Magic board, what does it mean? Magic board for me is nothing else like checklist of the areas that we can improve in our team, our project. And mine looks like this. And this is something that I am asking asking myself a few questions, and by answering them yes or no, I knew on which area I need to focus first. So as you can see, there is a there's a Jira meetings and also some questions like, are important bugs are fixed quick? Yes or no? Team, am I able to stop release if the release is not ready? Yes or no? And as I said, based on that, I knew on which area I need to focus first. Okay, so we should talk right now about some QA process areas. First one, Jira. So I will give you my first steps in each area, what I implemented in my projects, where I worked. First, so to be honest, I'm not a fan of that Kanban board. It's up to project, to be honest, that you should implement it that way, or if you can improve readability and you work on stories, I guess the swim lines is a much better choice instead of Kanban. Another, checklist plugin. Jira, in Jira there is something like checklist plugin. You can implement it as acceptance criteria, definition of done, whatever you want. Another very useful thing, quick filters to tracking bugs, tasks ready for QA, for example, front-end and back-end tasks. I think this is something that it's worth to do in the project. And my favorite here. What is missing here? No acceptance criteria, but I also heard description. And yes, that's the good answer here. I guess each of you has probably had situation that you received only ticket with only summary, without any description, and you spend a lot of time on the meetings with different people to figure out what's going on there, yeah? So this is something that I put it on an extra slide because I guess the process for complete task description, it can solve many of your problems. Meetings, next one. I hope your calendar doesn't look like this. Yeah. But since we are in the cinema, I prepared something for you, some short movie. Yes. I hope you like that video. It entertains me every time when I watch it. Okay. It wasn't the best meeting, right? But I got another question to you. So what was wrong with that meeting? And I'm just not about that Michael wasn't prepared. I'm not asking about that because it's quite obvious. Too many people. Exactly. There were too many people that weren't needed there, to be honest. So I saw even that was a janitor or something. So why? So my first question and my first step is to remember about the agenda and purpose. And ask yourself, when you just saw some meeting invitation, so ask yourself the question, what can I bring or what can I take from that meeting? If both answers are nothing, so maybe it's better to decline and spend that time or something else, or some task or something like this. Another, try to prepare when you just aware about that agenda and purpose, so try to prepare yourself for that meeting. If it's many people of them, so I suggest to divide roles. So someone just taking notes, someone watching time. Change the host from time to time is also, I guess, good point here. And create action point. And very important thing here, assign it to someone. Because action points without assignment, it's like a trash. So nobody cares. Believe me, I know what I'm saying. Documentation. So next area, I see that you are our favorite, right? Documentation, yeah. So my too. So that's why instead of like specific, very detailed documentation, I suggest to create something like high-level documentation, what it is. So this is one page with all necessary, easily to update, easily to maintain information about what's your team doing for you, for team, for anyone else in the company that, okay, what the team just, I don't know, did last week, so here you are. Another thing is also good for new joiners, high-level documentation. Automated test as a documentation, of course, that it will be great. Engage, of course, if it's possible, whole team into documentation. It's not that hard, but believe me, that it's just a matter of things that you said. And the last but not least, instead of creating documentation like on Confluence page or something like in just text, so maybe Miro or some other visual tools, it may be for you something, why not? You can try. Team. So I mean team inside your one project team. So where you are developers, QAs, who else? Analytics, PM, and so on. Per testing session, but not only with QAs. That's possible to arrange a meeting with developers. Based on my experience, believe me, one of the best one I got with backend developers. Yeah. Oh, I just do something? No? Yeah, okay. Not this one. Next one. Test case review meeting. It's also not with only QAs, so I suggest to prepare test cases by someone, send to another 2 or 3 people. It might be QA developer, PM, anyone else who is engaged in some process of new feature, of implementing new feature, and ask them about, do you just understand what I wrote? That's all. If yes, so it's understandable for everyone, and let's go with that. So it helps you to not be a just bottleneck. So, oh, there's no QA, we don't have someone who will test it. No. On test cases review by whole team, it's easy to find replacement. Create acceptance criteria, definition of done, definition of ready, and share your thoughts and just discuss with your team. If you got some problems, for example, I don't know, you are the only one QA in a team, like in that case. So I guess in the QA community, you got some in your company, QA community. You are not just the only one person QA in the whole company. So what I suggest here, my first steps in that area is to knowledge sharing session, QA exploratory testing sessions. For seniors, I know you are here, so maybe some internal monitoring program for someone who is on, I don't know, for juniors, for mids. So I guess that might be very helpful for them and maybe for you. Seniors for QA ETS and QA managers. And what I think is important when you work in a bigger company and you got more than one QA team, it's good to have something like sync meetings so that our changes may affect or can destroy something in other team. So it's good to have one meeting to just make sure that our changes doesn't affect other teams. Okay, and other. What is other? Okay, so maybe I suggest to reduce channels, reduce number of channels on Slack. Why not? If you someone adds you there, but there's nothing for you, so I guess you can just leave it. Create some mail rules for improve readability of your email, maybe something using like to-do lists. Use, of course, AI if you just have some idea how to use it. Self-development, of course, attending on that conferences like this or smaller meetups. There's many of them, even in Krakow. Yeah. Okay, so with that knowledge from our metric board, which becomes board with our QA processes we can improve. We come back to our team, step by step. Yes. And we start implementing our first QA process with success. And yeah, we are very happy about that. What problems do we solve? So based on my experience, I know right now that it's much easier find bugs earlier. Improving communication is another thing, knowledge sharing, and what's very important, reclaim time. But of course, there's many pros and cons in that implementing changes in a team. But let's start from pros. What's in my opinion, very important? We are personal development and your career. You're building the trust of a QA in your company, in your team. Improving communication, less bugs, building quality responsibility in the team, and you finally got more time for yourself. Cons, time consuming at the beginning, because it's not that easy to detect area for improvement. And it might be possible some help from someone from senior QA, from QA lead, from QA manager, or maybe even from project manager. Why not? One last thing that I prepared for today. When I'm preparing for that presentation, I posted question. Question on some IT groups, testowaniu programowania, and I guess two more. There were 4 questions, 3 posts on different groups, with one topic. That topic is tasks and time management in the QA and tester work. Okay. What I received? I received 116 answers. I also asked about your position. So it means, what is your job title? And I choose 19 because there were more than 25 variations of naming QA role. So there was tester, QA, junior, a lot. So I just combine very similar together, and there is only 19 positions here, and 3 seniority levels. Okay, let's go to the summary. So this is the chart. One important thing here, those charts are in percentage, presented in percentage, not in hours. The question was exactly the same what I asked you. So how much time do you spend on different activities, assuming that you have 40 hours a week, yeah? So this is QA. So as you can see, at the beginning, QA spend most of their time on testing, but after some time, and this is very interesting here, so they are trying to QA processes, some automation, okay, things related to tasks, but also self-development, and over time, where they are more experienced, yeah, in area of any other project, because he's a junior, mid, and senior, we can see that they are spending more time on different activities, like I said about this processes, automation. After that, we can see here automation. Senior, of course, on meetings also. But yeah, we can see some changes here. Testers. Regardless seniority, I just want to remind you, junior, mid, and senior. Testing is the most activity that testers spends the most of their time, and even over some time when they try to implement some QA process, as you can see here, where is it? Mid QA process. Oh, after some time. So as a mid and as a senior, they just want to implement some changes and QA processes, but it's not that big as for the change is not that big as for QAs. Yeah. One more group As you can see, QA managers, QA test leads. So they are spending a lot of time on QA processes, also on meetings, that's quite obvious, but also on automation, and as you can see here, from time to time on manual testing. So this is also very interesting. Another thing, okay, this is both charts. So why I think that it's important to remember about those QA skills. I mean QA skills, so about also processes. Because after some time, as you can see on the first chart, you are able to focus on just different things. You just reclaim your time. You have more time for different areas. Let's say automation, you can just develop your tech skill, or maybe just another QA process for another improvement in your team that you know that it might help to improve your work. The most important benefits for you. First one, more time. Second, investment in oneself. And building your position as a QA. I guess this is something that we need to remember about that as a QAs. Yeah, so to just building your position, then that you are the guy who is responsibility, and whole team just aware about that. For your clients, team, and for the organization, what's important? You're just improving the quality of a product, and your own and the team's work. Yeah, so everyone's happy. Yeah, your organization, your company, your team, your teammates, everyone. And we just come back here. So when we build the trust for a QA in a team, so next thing and the next changes, as you can see, it will be not triggered by you. It will be triggered by whole team. We will do it, you will do it together with a team. And even, I guess, after some time, your team can find some areas for improvement, and may the process looks better, and trying to improve with, yeah, that's all. That's the end of the sentence. Yeah, and come back to the team. Okay, and one last thing that I want to just tell you here is also my story. So investment in QA skills is also important because it makes you stand out. What does it mean? Even when I changed my job a while ago, I just found out after, of course, some time, that my QA skills made me stand out from the other candidates and just get the job. Especially right now in the, let's say, tough times in our industry. So I encourage you to take your first step. Thank you.
Round of applause to Rafał. Thank you very much for the speech, and now we'll take the questions. Before you ask the question, please state your name and wait for the microphone to approach you so that everyone can hear your question. And the first question I can see is there. You have the microphone there? Not yet, so I'll approach.
Hi, so I'm David. How would you deal with the mindset, we don't need testers?
Tricky one.
No, yeah, the first one and tricky one. We don't need testers, but it's hard to answer that question easily, but it's many factors I guess behind that, yeah? Why? And it's the question is you are as a new joiner, for example, or you work in that team longer, and right now they got some just bad experience from their previous companies. So it's many factors out there. So, but who is telling that?
So we are creating a QA team.
Mm-hmm. You are creating QA team? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me approach with the microphone. Wait a second.
So there's a...
So situation is that there were no QA processes because the company bought by company was small.
Okay.
And now we are introducing QA processes. So So yeah, so we are dealing with that mindset. So what would be your advice?
I guess to answer that question properly, I need to know more context here. So I guess from my perspective, it's hard to answer, to be honest. Yeah, to how to right now. Yeah, maybe when we just go outside and talk, so it will be maybe more easier because to the simplest answer that comes to my mind is just convince them. But you know, that's not that obvious. Maybe some benefit that. Oh, okay. Maybe that might be the answer. So maybe when you even without their knowledge start any QA process, for example, even the simplest one, like I don't know, creation the task description, and you just try to implement that. It may be something that okay, they can even see that because of that they receive tickets with better description and can I don't know starting developing without sitting on the meetings. So yeah. So I guess that will be my answer. So even just try, yeah. So maybe even try the simplest project and the benefits and some impact that you might have right now. It will be something that you can start, yeah. And after that you can, okay, so guys, is it useful? Yeah. Is it helpful? Yeah. You reclaim your time? Yeah. So maybe another thing. But it's not that easy. I heard about it, yeah, also. So there's an approach we, them. So yeah, I know.
All right, thank you. Another question here.
Hi, Alexander. Thank you for the presentation, great one. Could you tell, so I really like that mixture of like qualitative advices and some data that you supported regarding time, but could you tell more how you measure your personal kind of effectiveness as a QA, right? And the same for the whole team, let's say, or for the whole QA department. Thanks.
Okay, another tricky one. How I measure. Maybe I will answer that way. So first of all, I mainly focus on things that I can resolve, let's say, as quick as I can. So task prioritization I guess right now, it's something it's very important for me. Even when I receive many different tasks from many different areas, especially right now when I'm a senior. So it's not only tasks like please test it or something or verify it, but it's also from managers, from developers, from even other teams. So for me, the most important thing is what important is that? If there's no clear information about that, because you can receive many tasks with the same priority, yeah? So all of them are critical, yeah? Yeah. So this is something I guess focus first to better manage my time. I just try to focus on things that it's the most important from the business perspective. So I guess that's the first thing that comes to my mind right now, because that question is also tricky. Is there anything else? I can see also right now in my team, I have all 7 QAs right now. So maybe another measure, it will be how quick they can, because I also assign some tasks to them and help them resolve them from time to time. So for me, when I joined in January to SmartBear, so till now, I can see the progress of their work. This is also some measure for me, and I can of course improve some processes to get to that point. Yeah, but yeah. So maybe some results of my colleagues. It will be also some measure for me that I'm doing my job properly. Yeah. So I would say prioritization of tasks, helping me with time management, and my colleagues' work results. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? I see the question there.
Hello, My name is Matt.
Hello, Matt.
I'd like to ask you if you have any recommendations for QA trainings, specifically for QA, not for testers.
Exploratory sessions. I did it even in Smarbur a couple times. So you take some part of your application and just spend 1 hour with whole team on that. And believe me, you can, after that session, found out how many things you don't know about the application. Watching like someone else testing or someone else finding some areas that for you was obvious, but for them, the way someone else is doing some exploratory session, that's very useful. And I learned a lot about that, but you ask not about only testers, but QA. QA activities, strictly QA activities. So I guess let's say finish with some, let's say process, not just like you do it once and forget about it and someone maintain that after some time, but something that you can start some process and after some time you can even assign someone to that and that process is alive. Yeah. So I guess in QA areas, I guess the process is key here. So anything that you can just create as a whole process from the scratch to the moment that you are, let's say, achieve your goal. So this is, and you can maintain it after some time. So this is anything but some examples. So one of those what I presented. So even that it will be something that maybe right now it comes to my mind, what can I answer for that question? But everything related with the process, let's say, that's the difference here.
All right. Thank you very much for the questions for today. Rafał, maybe you can select the winner for the book. Whose question did you like the most? Maybe the most difficult one.
I guess the first one.
It's the first one. So please approach me later on for the book.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Big round of applause once
Thank
more
you.
for Rafał.